We made it across the finish line. I'm very glad to say that we do have Exodus 9:31 and 31 and 32 biblically verified Aviv barley in the land of Israel. Before we get into that, I just want to remind you that this is not an ecumenical report. In other words, don't try to represent other people's understanding of what the Aviv is or try to prove for them the condition that they're looking for. This is what I have been doing for pretty much 6 years, maybe not the whole time, but the majority of the time I've been reporting on the barley. So if you write me and tell me that I didn't have enough photos for your purposes, I had enough photos for my purposes. And so let's get into the report, and it's kind of exciting and shocking how far that field can travel towards mature in 8 days. I wanted to go back to the field from March the 10th that was in worm, and check on the condition of the barley. Number one, I'm getting ready to get on a plane and go to the U.S. and see my mother, children, and grandchildren. And I had been praying that we would have closure on the barley before I got on the plane. So I knew also that we have had significant changes on the earth. We have not had rain on the earth in probably 10 or 12 days, and we've had very warm temperatures. So the earth has gone from looking very vibrant and green to looking more brownish and yellow as the water has evaporated from the earth and the heat has increased. The plants have really began to put their efforts into making a seed. We know that I only accept a field because Yeshua says in his parable that the field is the world. And the bad seeds are the seeds of the enemy, and the good seeds are the seeds of the kingdom. My paraphrase. So look, you see how brown that is down in there? But that barley is still green. I don't even know how much it would have in it, but I'm not checking here yet. I'm going right over here where we were before. Okay, so you're still seeing some later barley here. It's still a mixed field. So let's just start checking some of this. Some of this older barley has shattered. That has shattered. I'm not too surprised, as hot as it's been. There's actually quite a bit of it shattered, but you'd still really have a hard time putting your sickle in here. Let's check some of the green in this. Yeah, that looks really good. And in this area, the awns are terribly, terribly brittle. First of all, I can't squeeze it. So it's past worm quite a ways. And it feels pretty good. That's got plenty of starch in it. You see how dry it is? Let's take another one, reach out there willy-nilly and grab one.
The grains are small. They've had a hard year. I'm not at all surprised. That is a little wet. No, that's, well, I mean, it's on its last leg of wet. There's not any shiny moisture on my hand, but it feels just a teeny bit wet. Okay, let's walk over here some more and look at some more of this green barley and see if we can. Now, I would tell you that if I was checking this field on a daily basis, that I would have probably still not harvested the barley that's shattering, because you can't put your grain to the sickle. However, this stuff here, this later stuff, I could put my grain to the sickle. Let me just grab one right here so I can show you. Let's see if you can see. There's that one right there. Trying to be very mindful of what I'm doing. It's actually much easier when the wind's not blowing. The camera focus is not so distracted. Okay, that's immature. Actually, yeah, that's just at the end of worm. Just at the end of worm. I brought actually a sack that I was going to harvest a bunch and open them up, but it's not going to be conducive to doing it alone in the field by myself. So let's go over here. That head fell out. That one's a little wet. That one's right nice. Very nice.
Please remember that between the last inspection and this inspection, I have barley to inspect that is or will make Aviv barley, and I'm just trying to give sufficient proof that this field is full now, and we don't have any problem with saying the barley is Aviv according to Scripture, and that we can start the first of the year at the next new moon.
Sometimes those top grains, heads of grain on the barley don't have anything in them. That's why you saw me throw that down. It was empty. See how green that is? That's the green you want for Aviv. That's what Aviv means. It doesn't mean a green ear. Let's look at this real quick. According to Strong's, a green ear is this husk right here, and if I can get the other side off, that husk right there. That's what Strong's calls a green ear. It's not the color of the barley. That is still, it's dough, it's still a little wet. This one is shattering as I touch it. focus is not wanting to work with me. It is always a problem working alone. Plenty of starch down in there. Well, I basically set aside myself. I would harvest all of that. Let me use my stick, it's better. I would harvest all of that towards the tree, all of that. I would harvest all of this, and a lot of this, because once this is harvested, it's going to dry in 24 hours. All the way up there on that hill. So my next part of the journey was to check on the flax. Is the flax in bloom? And in this same field, we're going to be able to check on the black emmer wheat. Now, I'll be real honest with you. I feel like the barley is going to be weak this year in its presence on the land because it's far between. And I'm not just talking about the blooms, I'm talking about the plants themselves. There's not many plants. So, okay, there's some more there. There's some more there. Look at this. This is heat. They're turned upside down. It has been a rough year on the land because of our absolute lack of water. Okay, there's some barley over there. And you wouldn't believe it, but in about, well, by Shavuot, this is going to be covered in wheat. So I said barley, I'm so sorry. That is flax over there. Forgive me, I'm flying out of here on a plane tonight, and my brain's going 500 directions at the same time. All of that's flax. So we've seen plenty of flax. Let's go on down and see if we can find some wheat, which means Becca is going to dig in the earth and show you that obviously there's no wheat in heads, but obviously the wheat is not grown up. However, to see the wheat itself will be a good exercise. Here you go. One on, one seed, one on, two seeds, two on. The wheat is not grown up. It does not have its fruiting head.
So if you're new to this channel, I would suggest you go back and look at some of the videos from the last about 3 years where I've shown the black wheat in quite a bit of detail. The black emmer wheat that was used in the temple until it was destroyed in 70 AD is a very unique wheat, unlike the barley that falls out with one stick or one on per seed. When the black wheat falls out of the plant, it sheds in pairs, 2 seeds and 2 sticks, 2 awns together. And that's why I was showing you in that photo that there was indeed 2 seeds and 2 sticks on either side of those 2 plants. 2 plants growing together in a cluster, 2 sticks, 2 seed husks in that one plant. And so really I don't have anything other to tell you about today. It was a very mixed field. A judgment call would need to be made. Are you going to destroy the whole field for the 2% that's shattered? Or are you going to allow that 2% to drop to the earth and take the greater quantity that's becoming mature now? For me, again, we talked about this early in the year, it would be a curse if I had to harvest that whole field for 2% of the barley to make the omer. I don't believe that's what Elohim intended for families to do who had to feed their children for a year from those grains. But I am satisfied that come the next new moon, we're completely ready to begin the year because of Exodus 9, 31 and 32, the proof of the barley, the wheat, and the flax together. I would expect by the time that I get home from the States, I'll be coming back in May 15th. I would expect to see some of the wheat shattering already because of the earliness, because of the intercalation that makes the barley feel like it's early for the coming month when it's really not. This is what happens in an intercalation. When you have to add that month to allow the barley to finish maturing, it feels like an off year. And basically, that's an intercalation. So from that perspective, when I come home, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see some of the wheat shattering, even though it won't quite be Shavuot. It'll be ahead of Shavuot. So thank you for your time and thank you for your attention. I appreciate your support this year very much. It makes a difference. It really does. It is a lot of hard work. I put more hours in than probably the other inspectors put together because I learn every year, and sometimes if we learn something in particular that really makes a difference, we need to adjust our cells. And so it's a learning experience. I don't believe in my lifetime anyway we'll ever be able to say that we've arrived and we know everything about the barley in Israel and what it will do in every situation that can be presented to it. Thanks for watching.